Hey, what's going on, guys? We're back on Facebook Live. I'm Wyatt, Vaughn with the New Orleans Junior Journalism Program. This is
Chris Taylor.
We're missing our third amigo today. Phil couldn't make it, but us two, we're here. We're talking NFL football today, mixed in with some Saints. And so let's just get right into it. Last week, week 17 of the NFL, the Saints had a crushing loss last week against the Panthers. Well, maybe not crushing.
Yeah.
It didn't mean anything. The Saints had already clinched the first seed in the division and the conference, which means they have home field advantage throughout the playoffs. So it didn't really matter. But any thoughts on last week's game?
I think Teddy Bridgewater, his first start in the year since his injury, playing with the Vikings. But I think he looked pretty good. I mean, he didn't have the full use of our offensive line. But honestly, I think if he had the full offensive line, a healthy offensive line, he would have. They may have won that game actually. But he looked good.
Yeah,
I liked how Teddy Bridgewater looked, and him as a backup. Drew Brees getting old. He may not be the quarterback of the future, but anytime Drew Brees go down, we should be okay with Teddy Bridgewater.
Yeah. Also, Alvin Kamara didn't play, so that's a big thing.
Did.
That would have helped them a lot if Alvin Kamara could have played. So the Panthers actually had a rookie quarterback starting, Kyle Allen from Texas A&M, undrafted. He actually looked really good.
He did.
The Saints' defense kind of sputtered a little bit. There were some injuries. Sheldon Rankins only played the first play of the game, but what did you see from Kyle Allen? He looked good.
He looked good. He looked really good. Our defense, I don't think we were as focused. I think we were just there trying to get out there without any injuries. We did suffer, Sheldon Rankins. He did get injured on the first play, but I think he looked pretty good. Cam Newton didn't play. He was I don't know if I think he just didn't want him to play just for the future and didn't want to re-injure his injury, but he looked good. I liked him. Defense wasn't as focused, so he didn't have a full and powerful defense as the Saints usually are, but he looked okay.
Yeah, so this week we've got the first week of the NFL playoffs. We've got the wild card.
Yes.
The Saints are off this week. Do you think that since the Saints are off this week and a lot of the starters didn't play last week, 2 weeks off in a row for Saints starters, could that prove to be a problem, maybe some rust?
That's something I was thinking about, watching last week's game. Drew Brees didn't even play. I felt like he maybe because of the
he didn't dress out.
He didn't dress out him or Kamara. I feel like he maybe could have done a first drive just just get some playing time.
Get some reps.
Yeah, get some reps in. But I think that may be a big factor, going into that second round game. Going especially in football, if you're coming off the bench, not playing as much, I think that's another thing that's gonna hurt Ty Gurley. He hasn't played that much. He's been injured. I think that's gonna hurt him when they play in that second round divisional game. But I think that's gonna be a big problem, honestly.
All right, so you're saying it's not gonna matter. I think it will matter.
It will matter.
It will matter.
That will. The rust, knocking the rust off, it can, especially with our offense. We were getting something going, after losing against the Cowboys. Our offense wasn't looking powerful, and we were trying to get something going. I think that's going to be a big factor. So
yeah, I think it'll be a big factor as well. I think anytime your team takes off 2 weeks, especially when you've got a lot of young guys on your team, the only real big veteran we have is probably Drew Brees. A couple on defense, Demario Davis.
I think Mark Ingram's getting
in there, but you've got a lot of young guys: Alvin Kamara, Michael Thomas. They haven't really been around this playoff thing. They've only done it one time, so they don't really. They're not very experienced.
I'm gonna say the only person that's gonna help is Ted Ginn, because he's coming off injury. Yeah. He played that 1 week against the Steelers, and honestly, I feel like that this break may give him it may help him out because he's a veteran. And I think that he's going to be very important in the playoffs. I almost forgot about him. He's going to be very important, being able to stretch the field and stretch opponents' defenses. And I think he's going to be really important. Michael Thomas on one side, Ted Ginn on another. And he's pretty quick. He's old, but he's still pretty quick. I think he's going to help out the offense a lot.
And, that's a great point, bringing up Ted Ginn. Yeah. Ted Ginn, I think, is the X factor in this offense because when he wasn't playing, when we had those stretch of 3 games against the Cowboys, Bucks, and Panthers where we really struggled offensively, the problem was we couldn't stretch the defense long ways. Yeah. Michael Thomas was just getting shadowed by 2 guys, and there was no way. He's not very fast. He's not a deep threat. So we couldn't get down the field, and that was really the problem with our offense. We were playing in a phone booth, as they say, So we got a comment here. Nola will not have another quarterback like Drew Brees again, so don't compare Bridgewater. Wow, I'm really coming for your neck there.
I wasn't comparing Bridgewater, but I mean, I just feel like he looked good in this game, and I'm not going to say he's going to be our quarterback for the future. I didn't want to say that. But, you know, when he played for the Vikings, he was a good quarterback for them. And I feel like he can be a good quarterback for us as well. When we have our full offensive line and as powerful as our offensive line is, I feel like he can still be the good quarterback, as great as a quarterback as he was for the Vikings, as he will be for us, just with a good offensive line. That's all I'm saying. He's not nowhere near as good as Drew Brees, never. He's not going to be a Hall of Famer like Drew Brees, but, you know, I just said he's pretty good. He looked good.
All right, good points there. So, talking about the Saints.
Yeah, he has a long way to go.
He does have a long way to go. Very true, especially after the injury. Yeah. So, we're talking about the Saints. We're talking about when they're not going to play. Let's talk about when they do play.
Yeah.
Divisional round, we're either going to be playing the Bears, Cowboys, Seahawks, Eagles.
Mm-hmm.
How can the Saints win the Super Bowl?
Offense.
Offense.
You know, people say defense wins championships, but we're going to be in a dome. Our defense, I feel like we're locked with our defense. I feel like we shouldn't even worry about them. Any team we have a chance of playing the Eagles, the Cowboys, or the Seahawks. I mean, out of that, the best offense we have is the Seahawks. Like we were talking earlier, and we were saying, you said that Russell Wilson, if any quarterback you had to pick to beat Drew Brees and the Saints, it would be Russell Wilson. Mm-hmm. He's a veteran. He's a veteran quarterback, a Super Bowl winning quarterback. I mean, out of those, Mitchell Trubisky
should have won 2 Super Bowls.
Yeah, he should have won 2 Super Bowls. Yeah. And let's not. Yeah, that was sad. But Nick Foles and Russell Wilson and Dak Prescott. Out of those quarterbacks, I'm going Russell Wilson, like you said.
Absolutely.
And Nick Foles, yes, he's been hot, and I feel like the defense is just not going to be able to stop our powerful offense. I feel like the Cowboys or the Seahawks, their defenses have a better chance. But, you know, I think as far as offense, we have to be powerful. Like we were talking about how they have may have to knock off some rust, you know, with that 2 weeks off. But the offense is gonna have to step up. We're gonna have to put up points. We're gonna have to score obviously more than the other team. Our defense is a lot, like I say, in a dome. We're on fire. Like they're getting turnovers on every play, and I think that's gonna be the key. You know, with the running backs.
Yeah. Alvin
Kamara and Mark Ingram, they're going to be key. If we can pound all defenses throughout the playoffs and throw the ball to Michael Thomas and Tre'Quan Smith and tag in, I mean that's 3 wide receiver threat. That can be big, and that can definitely win you a Super Bowl.
Yeah. See, you're talking about offense, saying you trust the defense in the dome. I'm the exact opposite.
You don't trust the defense?
I trust the offense in the dome.
You don't trust the defense?
Hold on, let me finish.
Wait, what?
I absolutely trust Drew Brees in the dome. I trust the offense in the dome. I trust Michael Thomas in the dome. I trust Mark Ingram in the dome. I trust the offensive line in the dome. That I'm not worried about the offense. Yeah. I think the offense is going to be there.
You don't trust the defense?
If you look at it, the last couple of weeks, the defense has been great on the road.
Yeah.
Against the Cowboys, on the road. Against the Buccaneers, on the road. Against the Panthers, on the road. Those games were all on the road.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not worried about the defense, and I'm not saying they're better on the road than at home. But I would say if they can play great defense, I think that's the key.
Yeah.
So going on to the rest of the NFC,
mm-hmm.
Who is the Saints' toughest matchup in the NFC?
Honestly, this is hard. Like I said, the Seahawks, they have Russell Wilson, a veteran quarterback. Other than that, I mean, we can't count out the Rams.
You can't count out the Rams.
We can't count them out. They have a powerful offense, the highest scoring offense. And their defense, they're definitely up there. They're ranked around the same as us.
Yeah, best player in the league on defense.
Yeah, Aaron. Nah, dude. He's not, but I'm not going to go into that. But Aaron Donald, yes, he's a very, very dominant defensive end. And, yeah, let me just go right quick. All right. But, yeah, Aaron Donald, he's very dominant. He's definitely Defensive Player of the Year without a doubt. He's been racking up sacks the whole season. But that defense, you can't count them out. You really can't. You know, they have the Bears, too. Khalil Mack, that Chicago Bears defense, they're very dominant.
Yeah. See, I think the Rams are a great team, and I think it will be a tough matchup for the Saints. But I'm not going to go with the Rams. I'm going with the Seahawks. I think when you look at the Seahawks, the past couple of weeks, they've been hot. They've won a lot of their last few games. They beat the Chiefs on Thursday Night Football. That's a huge win for them.
Russell Wilson was dominant in that game.
You said it earlier. If there's any quarterback that I trust in the NFC to go into the Superdome and beat Drew Brees and the Saints, it's Russell Wilson. When you look at it, Russell Wilson statistically is the best fourth quarter quarterback in the NFL. I mean, he is one of the most underrated players in the NFL. He should have been taken into MVP consideration last year and should be taken under consideration this year. Shouldn't win. Yeah, but I mean, I trust the Seahawks. You can never count out their defense. They've got superstars on both sides of the ball. Bobby Wagner on defense, Russell Wilson on offense. Doug Baldwin has been an amazing wide receiver the last few weeks. And they have the number one running offense in the league, which is crazy to think about.
Without Marshawn Lynch.
Exactly. Chris Carson has been a great running back for them. So that's my pick. So,
well, I want to say this too. I think we got to think about the Cowboys. I'm not saying that they're probably, like you said, one of the worst team in the NFC. And if they have to come in the dome, in the playoffs, in the playoffs, but that's even worse for them. But if they have to come in the dome, yes, they beat us by 3 points, and we played terrible. I want to stress that we played terrible, and they beat us by 3 points. And we missed. We could have went for a field goal early in the game, and we decided to go on fourth down in that game. They beat us by 3 points, and we played terrible. And we were on the road. If we come in the dome, like I said, I'm very confident in our defense in the dome. And our offense, I think the only thing I'm very confident in us too in the dome, but I think that those 2 weeks may be a big factor, like we stated earlier. If we come in the dome and dominate them, and I think we should blow them out. If we get them, we're gonna blow them out, honestly, because their defense is not that good. They're okay, and their offense, Ezekiel Elliott, he's been okay. He's been fired, and Amari Cooper, he's helped their offense a lot because early in the season when they played the Seahawks, they lost, and their offense was terrible at that time. But once they got acquired Amari Cooper, they really stepped it up. And I just think that I want the Cowboys. I want them. I want them bad. I want them to come to the dome just so we can stump them. I want them. I'm telling you, we need them. We don't need them, but I want them. I want them bad. That's all I got to say. I want them.
All right, so you're talking about Dallas versus Saints. Whew. So when Dallas played the Saints, you know who actually had a really bad game that game? Drew Brees, which leads us into our next debate, the MVP.
Yes.
So I sense a little bit of a change of heart from you since the last time we've done this. Yeah. At first you were Drew Brees.
I switched to Mahomes.
Then you switched to Mahomes. Where are you now? Who do you think should win? Who do you think will win?
I'm stuck in the middle. But like you said, who I want to win, of course, Brees. Not just being because I'm a Saints fan or whatever, but because he's more efficient. This man, he's for the 5th time in his career, he's had a completion rate of over 70. This year, 74.4%.
Very impressive.
70% has only been done by 11 quarterbacks. Mm-hmm. He has 5 of those, 5 seasons. And I'm not gonna go into the history of in the past, anything like that. I know you don't. This is not a lifetime achievement, or like you said, this is this season. He's hit 4 undrafted quarterbacks this season. Michael Thomas has been doubled. Ted Ginn, he's just coming back. He's getting back in a rotation. In my opinion, he is the most important, most valuable player on that Saints team.
Oh yeah, on the Saints. Yeah.
Exactly. Without him, they would be nothing right now.
Absolutely.
They would be nothing.
I wouldn't say nothing.
I mean,
but I do think they would be a lot worse.
They would not be in the playoffs. That's for sure. They wouldn't.
They wouldn't be in the playoffs.
They wouldn't be in the playoffs.
But would the Chiefs be in the playoffs if they didn't have Patrick Mahomes?
No, but look.
Fair.
They're going to say. First of all, I'm going to say this: Mahomes is going to win. He's going to win just because he's going to win. He's the
front runner.
He's the front runner.
Favorite
yeah,
right now.
His stats is the thing that to me that's really helping him. But going into stats, in the past years, you know how many times Drew Brees has had the best stats in the NFL and hasn't won the MVP? It happened multiple times.
Mm-hmm.
So to me, if you're the NFL and whoever chooses the MVP rate, whoever chooses that, you can't switch up like that. Because if you're going to say the MVP is the most valuable player or whatever, you can't just look at stats.
It's not just stats.
I'm just saying that's what they're looking at right now. I don't think Mahomes should win. Just because I think he's going to win because of his stats, but it shouldn't be like that. I feel like without Brees, we wouldn't even know who Michael Thomas is.
I disagree with that.
I don't think we would.
I very much disagree with that.
Because I know you see how the passes that Drew Brees throw. That's no other QB I mean, Mahomes threw that no-look pass. That was nice. I give him that. I give him that. That was nice. He throws some crazy passes behind the shoulder and over the shoulder passes and things like that. But I honestly just feel like Breeze deserves it. He's put in the work. He's more efficient. His QBR 150. Well, we would say passer rating 115. I just think that if you want somebody in the NFL to lead you to a Super Bowl, it's Drew Brees, without a doubt. You can't tell me you telling me you choose Mahomes over Brees to bring you to the Super Bowl.
No, I wouldn't choose either of them. I wouldn't choose Drew Brees because he doesn't play well on the road.
Why would you not? But what? Why would you not choose Brees?
He doesn't play well on the road.
So right now, they got one road game, and it's going to be in Atlanta. You know how many?
So it's not really a road game; it's a neutral game.
Exactly. So
yeah,
road game.
Oh yeah, if you have home field throughout, then Drew Brees is definitely in the conversation.
Exactly. So,
but if you're on the road, I wouldn't want Drew Brees as my quarterback because he doesn't play well on the road.
But they're not. So that's not even in the conversation anymore.
Okay, well, yeah, if it's home field throughout, then yeah, I would pick Brees. So this is why Patrick Mahomes should win MVP. Let me just go on my little soliloquy real quick to steal a word from Stephen A. Smith.
Go ahead.
Patrick Mahomes has thrown for 5,000 yards and 50 touchdowns this season.
Stats.
Okay, listen.
But look,
stats are important. Wait, I'm on my soliloquy.
Go ahead.
Can I finish my soliloquy?
Go ahead.
Stats are important. Stats are a part of it. Mm-hmm. Stats are not all of it, but stats are part of it. Mm-hmm. Patrick Mahomes has thrown 5,000 yards and 50 touchdowns. Mm-hmm. You know how many other quarterbacks have thrown 50 touchdowns ever? Peyton Manning is one, and Tom Brady is the other. It has happened 3 times, and one of them is this year with Patrick Mahomes. You know how many quarterbacks have thrown for 5,000 yards and 50 touchdowns?
Who? Tell me.
One, Peyton Manning and Patrick Mahomes. Okay? Patrick Mahomes has had the 3rd best season for a quarterback in NFL history behind Peyton Manning in 2013 when he broke the record for passing yards in a season and passing touchdowns, and 2007 Tom Brady when he had 4,800 passing yards and 50 passing touchdowns, and they went 16-0. Patrick Mahomes is 3rd behind those. Okay? Patrick Mahomes has been leading a team with the 32nd best defense. If you guys didn't know, there are only 32 teams in the NFL. That means their defense is the worst out of everyone. Okay? Yeah. And I'm not saying Drew Brees doesn't deserve it. Drew Brees absolutely deserves an MVP. The fact that Drew Brees is in year, what is he, 18, 19, 20, and he doesn't have an MVP?
He's not that old.
Okay, well, somewhere in there.
Like 15,
the fact that Drew Brees doesn't have an MVP is a stain on the NFL.
It is.
It is an absolute bad mark, and it's sad. But I don't think that can be resurrected by giving it to him in a season where he doesn't deserve it. He's got 14 less touchdowns. He's got over 1,000 or almost 1,000 less yards. His team is way better. He's got way better players around him helping him do it. Patrick Mahomes is doing wait. I
know you're doing your list of whatever the word. I don't even care. I don't care. Dude, did you just say he has dude, what? He has Michael Thomas. You just said it yourself. That's the only
better players around him.
Drew Brees does. Are you talking about wide receiver threats?
All around. Offense, defense.
Okay. But I got you. I thought you were talking about wide receiver threats.
No, not just wide receivers.
No, he doesn't have better wide receiver threats.
No, he doesn't.
Exactly.
That's what I'm saying. I'm saying
you're talking about
Drew Brees has the
yeah.
I'm talking about offense and defense. Yeah, so I'm talking about Drew Brees has a better defense. Drew Brees' defense is only allowing 22 points per game. Okay? If the Chiefs' defense gave up 22 points in every single game this season, you know what the Chiefs' record would be?
What?
16-0. The Saints would not be 16-0 because the Saints have scored less than 22 points multiple times. Okay? That's my argument. I think Patrick Mahomes, I think he's having more production with less talent around him. Kareem Hunt hasn't played since week 13. He's been relying on, rookie running backs that no one knows. Damian Williams from Oklahoma, Darrell Williams from LSU, a 7th-round draft pick. His real only stable threats have been Travis Kelce and Tyreek Hill. And I know Drew Brees hasn't had very stable threats either. He's had Mark Ingram, Alvin Kamara, and Michael Thomas, and that's about it for his stability. But I just think Patrick Mahomes, when you look at the rest of his team around them, I think it's clear that Patrick Mahomes is the most valuable player in the NFL.
You gave me a lot of stats.
I did.
I mean, and honestly, numbers don't lie. Numbers don't lie, okay? That's why, like I said, Mahomes will win. But Breeze is the most valuable player. This man, I'm gonna hit you with you know, 5 interceptions on the season.
Mm-hmm.
He's the lowest. He has the least amount of sacks this season.
Well, that's not that you can't.
That's not good.
That's not good.
But look, let me talk.
Didn't do that.
Let me talk.
Okay, go for it.
He did. He has to avoid defensive ends and defensive tackles. He put his defense anytime they didn't score, he's put his defense in the best position possible. Any fourth down, anything like that.
Drew Brees did that?
Yes.
Well, he didn't do that against Carolina.
Dude, he didn't play.
No, in the first Carolina game.
I thought he didn't play.
When they scored a touchdown because they ran the ball, not because he threw the ball, because Alvin Kamara went off. What did he do? He threw a pick six on a 2-point conversion that made it a 3-point game, making it even harder on the defense. Okay. He didn't do it in the Dallas game.
Look, no, dude. He
threw a pick on the 10-yard line.
You're hitting me with stats, okay? I'm just thinking, like, who is Tre'Quan Smith, one of the fastest wide receivers in the league? Travis Kelce, one of the biggest.
You mean Tyreek Hill? Yeah,
yeah. Travis Kelce, one of the biggest tight ends in the league. His size and Tyreek Hill's speed.
Okay.
How you gonna say that Breeze is not the most valuable player when he's made Michael Thomas? He helped Michael. He is the reason Michael Thomas broke a Saints record this year. Okay. He's the reason we know the name Tre'Quan Smith. He's the reason Ted Ginn is still a legitimate wide receiver in this league. Okay. He's the reason that four undrafted wide receivers got any receptions this year. He's the reason. He is the most valuable player. I don't care, 50 touchdowns. I don't care. Of course, he's going to get more attempts and passes because he has Kamara and he has Ingram. Like you said, that does help them. That does kind of help Mahomes' case. But you can't hit me with those. So if Mahomes had Kareem Hunt, do you think he still had 50 touchdowns?
Yes.
So you're telling me what?
It's close. It's either way. It's 48, 49, 50. It's still way more than Drew Brees had.
Okay, no, but if we didn't have an Ingram or a Kamara, I think Drew Brees would have rocketed past 4,000 yards.
Yeah, but that's the point. He does have Mark Ingram and Alvin Kamara.
I'm just saying,
which makes him less valuable.
No, but I'm just saying, dude. I'm thinking about the most valuable player, efficiency, everything. He makes his team good.
Yeah, I agree.
Both
of them do.
But I'm saying, who's more valuable?
Patrick Mahomes.
No, dude, Breeze. I'm telling you,
it's not.
He makes the players around him better.
Okay.
Exactly. That makes you the most valuable player. That's it, right? That he makes the people around him better.
Let me just say this real quick. I'm not saying Drew Brees isn't valuable. Drew Brees is the second most valuable player in the league, in my opinion, this season. I just think Patrick Mahomes, Drew Brees doesn't have to worry about his defense giving up 39 points a game because in Patrick Mahomes' 4 losses to the Seahawks, Chargers, Patriots, and Rams, who are all playoff teams, by the way, they gave up 39 points per game in those 4 games, okay? Drew Brees doesn't have to worry about that. The Saints haven't given up 39 points all year. They gave it up once to the Buccaneers, and they lost, okay? We got a comment here. The Saints without Brees are just okay. With him, they are great. When the defense is really performing, they can be amazing. And Mac from Chicago is actually the MVP. He changed the culture in 1 year, made a huge difference. Would Brees have those stats if their defense was not that good? The most valuable player is the one who keeps the team winning, not necessarily the best stat winner. I agree. It's not just stats. Wait. Like I said last week, stats show some things, not all things, like bikinis. Yes. Okay, stats aren't all of the argument, but stats are a big part of the argument. And I think when you say that it's the one who keeps the team winning, I'm on my soliloquy, Chris. Okay, the one who keeps the team winning, not necessarily the best stat winner. Drew Brees isn't
the team winning.
Yes, he does, but not as much as Patrick Mahomes does. And I'm not saying about record because obviously Drew Brees' record is better. I'm saying without Patrick Mahomes, the Chiefs would be way worse than the Saints. The Chiefs would be terrible. They have no defense. Their weapons are only good because Patrick Mahomes is there, like Drew Brees, but their offensive line is
no, dude, no. So you're saying Tyreek Hill is garbage without Patrick Mahomes?
I didn't say that.
You just
I said he wouldn't be as good without Patrick Mahomes.
What do you mean? When they had Alex Smith, he was still a Pro Bowl receiver.
Yeah,
and
but not as good as he is now.
What do you mean? Yes, he is. He's still.
And Alex Smith is a very good quarterback. I don't understand this. Alex Smith is a good quarterback.
No, you're just saying. You said without Mahomes. You saying without Mahomes, he's nothing. Like you can't compare what those Chiefs receivers are without Mahomes in the same way that the Saints receivers are without Brees. Without Brees, those receivers are nothing. Without Mahomes, those receivers are still Pro Bowl receivers. Tyreek Hill is still a Pro Bowl receiver without Mahomes. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
And
Michael Thomas isn't.
He's not. I'm telling you, he's not, dude. If you put
guys, wait, hold on. Let me just run this back for you guys real quick. Without Drew Brees, Michael Thomas is not a Pro Bowl wide receiver.
He's not.
Let's just think about that. A top 5 wide receiver is not a Pro Bowl wide receiver without Drew Brees. Let's just take that in real quick.
I'm not. I hate going back to the past, but you think Marcus Colston would have been a receiver he is without Drew Brees?
Okay, that's in the past.
I hate going. I'm just saying. It's just this is another. Michael Thomas is a better receiver than Colston.
Okay,
but I don't think if you put Michael Thomas on, if you put him on, what's the team you could put him on? Any other team, honestly, he wouldn't. I don't think without a quarterback like Brees, the passes that he throws, the accuracy that he throws with, I don't think Michael Thomas would be a Pro Bowl receiver.
So does Mahomes not throw accurate passes?
He does. He does throw accurate passes.
He throws more of them. He's got 5,000 yards and 50 touchdowns.
But his accuracy is nowhere near. It's not.
It's not.
But what? No.
He's more valuable to the Chiefs than Drew Brees is to the Saints. That's where it is.
It's not. I mean, like I hate that Mahomes will win, but honestly, I feel like Drew Brees deserves it.
I'm not saying Drew Brees doesn't deserve it.
You can't say that his stats aren't MVP worthy. You can't say that his efficiency, his team's record, his team is the front runner to win the Super Bowl, and he's the front runner to win the Super Bowl MVP with Mahomes behind him. If they go on to the Super Bowl, which they probably won't, I don't think that the Chiefs have what it takes to win in the playoffs.
Okay, so you're saying the Saints are the favorite for the Super Bowl. You know why they're the favorite for the Super Bowl?
Drew Brees.
The biggest reason is Drew Brees. But you know why another big reason why they're the favorite for the Super Bowl is? Because they have a above average defense.
Yeah, that's.
So we got a comment here. Brees threw for 5,000 yards, and we had a losing record. I agree. Well, yeah, he had a losing record. So I don't understand. I think Chris is actually kind of wrong about this one. But he wouldn't be as good with Drew Brees. Yeah, absolutely. I'm not saying Michael Thomas would still be putting up the same numbers.
I don't think he would be a Pro Bowl receiver.
He still is a top 10 receiver in the league without Drew Brees. He's still a great receiver.
I think he's a good receiver still, but I don't think he's a Pro Bowl. I don't think he's a starter in the Pro Bowl. Like he's the number one receiver in the Pro Bowl. I don't think
it depends on the system, the quarterback he's got, but
I don't think he's nowhere near. And I'm not gonna say he's nowhere near. I think he's still a good receiver. I think he still could get about almost 1,000 yards on the season. I think he's still the team's primary receiver, but I don't think he's a Pro Bowl receiver if we didn't have Brees.
So we got a comment. Brees threw 5,000 yards, and we had a losing record. Yes, that's why Drew Brees didn't win the MVP that year, because you had a losing record. So
that's why, yeah. Winning, I think winning has a. I mean, Mahomes,
winning has a huge thing on it.
Yeah, it does.
I mean, if winning didn't have a huge thing on it, then Devin Booker might be the MVP in the NBA. I mean, but he plays for the Suns; they don't win. Yeah. So I mean, winning has a huge thing on it. So that I agree. I agree with you on that. Winning
is huge. I mean, winning is huge. Y'all, the Chiefs, they've been winning. I think that I was looking at the last 2 games that the Chiefs lost. Other than, I mean, they beat the Raiders. The Raiders suck. But the last 2 games that really mattered for them. And but that last week game actually did matter. But
yeah,
they lost. They won. They lost 2 out of 3 of their last game. Those last 2 games that they lost, Mahomes threw for about 270 yards in each game. Mm-hmm. I mean, he's known to throw 300 yards. I don't think in any of the losses. I'm not going back to who's winning MVP. I'm just saying how winning is important.
Yeah.
But he hasn't really had. I'm not gonna lie. He hasn't been the reason they lost any of their games. Yeah. I'm gonna be real. I'm gonna say that I want Breeze. I want to say that Breeze should win and everything like that. But I'm gonna keep it real with y'all. And Mahomes, he hasn't been the reason that the Chiefs have lost any of their games. His stats are better. But, I mean, I'm just going to be real with myself and be real with y'all. He's going to win MVP. I'm going to make him happy. I want Brees to win so bad. I could argue with him. But, honestly, Mahomes will win in the end. And that's a bar. But I just want to.
All right, so before we move on from the MVP, let's scroll down. We got some comments here. Let's see the last 3 comments. Michael Thomas is very good. If the Saints defense was ranked 32, Brees would throw more. Okay, Brees is a great leader. He makes the offense and defense better. He sets the bar, change the culture for the Saints. He absolutely did change the culture for the Saints. And for that, I am absolutely so thankful because the Saints would still be wearing bags over their heads without
I like
him.
that too.
That's absolutely true, but that doesn't make him the MVP this year. And if the Saints defense – okay, yeah.
I like that point.
Yeah. If the Saints defense was ranked 32nd, would Brees throw more yards and touchdowns? Yes, absolutely. But his defense isn't ranked 32nd, which means that he doesn't have to worry about his defense. His defense is constantly putting up good games every week.
And going back to in a playoff where you're saying you don't believe in the defense.
No, I do believe in the defense. I'm just saying I believe in the offense more than the defense.
Yeah, but I like this comment, but we're thinking a lot of – I think we should think more realistically and because we think about – what if they didn't have what if they did have a 32nd ranked defense, but they don't? So like that's a good point for what you were saying. But this comment, Breeze is a great leader. He makes the offense and defense better. He sets the bar, it changed the culture for the Saints. That's a big point. I mean, I don't think that.
Well, he doesn't make he can't make the defense better.
No, I'm just going. This is the point they're trying to make. Breeze, he's the motivational leader. He's the team leader. He gets the team going offensively and defensively, in my opinion. It's like he's the leader. That motivational talk, whatever he says.
If you're saying, are you saying that he does make the defense better?
I think he makes the entire team better.
Okay, well then where was he the years that the Saints had historically bad defenses? What was he doing? That's what I'm saying. The quarterback can't make a defense better.
I mean, he
absolutely makes the offense way better.
I feel like he motivates them in a different way. I feel like he does. I feel like the way that the offense plays motivates. I think that the way the defense plays motivates the offense and vice versa. I understand what the comment was saying, but I just like how I feel like without Breeze, the culture for the entire Saints would be totally different.
Okay, so last comment for MVP. What about Mayfield? That is a great comment. What about Baker Mayfield?
I'm just saying Baker Mayfield Rookie of the Year.
Oh.
He's
Saquon Barkley.
No, but he's ranked above Saquon. He's ranked above Saquon
maybe.
As far as offense. I mean, I think Saquon, but I think Baker Mayfield because his team actually had a chance to go in the playoffs.
It could be. So
with some things changing in the whole entire NFL, the Browns could have made the playoffs.
Maybe, yeah. So Mayfield, maybe in a couple of years, but
he's definitely offensive rookie of the year.
Finally, ending our MVP debate. I'm Mahomes. He's Breeze. We're not going to agree.
But
playoff predictions. Yeah. The whole playoffs, we're going through every single game, starting with the NFC.
Uh-huh.
Okay, 6-seed Eagles, they snuck in there.
Mm-hmm.
3-seed Bears.
Yeah.
Who do you got?
This is the one of the tough games that we have. This is one of them. We have a lot. Nick Foles, he's been on fire. He's came back. It's like I think these last 2 seasons has been like a story. It's a magical story. Somehow he's came back and pulled the Eagles into the playoffs. The Bears defense has pulled them this entire season. Mitchell Trubisky, he's got an okay sophomore season. I think that the offense was good enough to get them in the playoffs and get them the seed that they have. But in the end, I feel as if that Bears defense is gonna stump over the Eagles offense. Yeah, Nick Foles, that Eagles roster. I don't know. Honestly, I don't. But I feel like the Bears defense, I feel like that defense is going to be the key in them winning that game.
Yeah, I agree. I think the Bears are going to win. But I'm not going to rule out the Eagles.
I'm not. I can't rule them out because their roster is good.
It's a Super Bowl winning roster.
It's the same roster from last year. I think the defense will be the X factor.
Yeah, and just a little Nick Foles thing. He's 9-2.
9-2
in his 11 starts, and one of them was a game where they sat starters at the end of last season. So very impressive from him.
So it's almost like he's 9-1.
Yeah. So we've got Bears. Next game, Seahawks Cowboys.
Mm-hmm.
Who do you have in that one?
Seahawks Cowboys.
Well, I'll go first because I know who I want.
I don't know.
Or who I'm picking. I'm picking the Seahawks.
Yeah.
I think Dallas, they've kind of struggled a little bit at the end of the season. They struggled a little bit with Tampa Bay.
Yeah.
They lost. They got killed in Indianapolis to the Colts. Dak played well last week, but in a mop-up game kind of. I'm taking the Seahawks. I trust Russell Wilson. I trust Bobby Wagner on their defense. I trust Doug Baldwin. I trust their running game, and I trust Pete Carroll. Even though they're on the road, I think they'll only win that game, but I believe in the Seahawks.
See, my decision is two things. I want the Cowboys to win just so the Saints can go in and dominate them. But at the same time, Seahawks will win. I totally agree with you. That defense will be the X factor once again. And Russell Wilson, I trust him totally. He is a veteran quarterback, Super Bowl winning quarterback. And Pete Carroll, I mean, we all know who he is. But I feel like you said, Seahawks will win. They'll come out on top. I think both of these games, the Bears and Eagles and the Seahawks and Cowboys, both of those games will be really good games. They'll be definitely two games.
Most likely really low scoring.
Yeah, low scoring for sure.
Very good defenses in those games. So moving on to the divisional round. So we've both got Bears and Seahawks advancing. That means the Bears play the Rams and the Seahawks play the Saints. We'll start off with Seahawks-Saints because I think we both know how we're going to pick this one. I'm going Saints.
Yeah, I go Saints.
Although I do trust Russell Wilson.
It's going to be – I think this playoff – it's going to be one of the best playoffs we've seen in a while. From wild card to Super Bowl. Mm-hmm. Well, I think Super Bowl, Saints get there, we're going to blow out whoever we play. But from wild card to Super Bowl, I think it's going to be one of the best playoffs we've seen in a while, honestly.
Yeah. So I'm picking Saints there because I don't think anyone can beat the Saints in the Dome in the playoffs. Yeah. So I think you're picking Saints too, I imagine. All right, well.
Bears-Rams.
Bears-Rams. This is a good game.
That'd be a good game.
This is one of the games that I really struggled picking, but I have figured it out. I'm going Rams. I think
the high power offense.
I think they were banged up a little bit. They really haven't played any meaningful snaps in about a month.
Yeah.
Well, they will have when the divisional round comes around. Jared Goff is looking fresh. He's going to have a week to rest. Todd Gurley hasn't played he didn't play last week, so he's going to have a couple weeks of rest. He's going to be fresh, which is huge. Their defense was kind of banged up. They're going to get back some rest. Their offensive line was banged up. They're going to get back some rest. And the Bears are going to be coming off a tough game against a tough team in the Eagles. Mm-hmm. I like the Rams. I think when you give Sean McVay, one of the best offensive minds in football, 2 weeks to prepare for a great defense, I'm going Rams.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with you once more. And I think, like, your best player in the league, Aaron Donald, will be the difference. I mean, that defense, I think he's going to get, like, at least 2 or 3 sacks on Trubisky in that game. That high-power offense, that high-scoring offense, I think they're going to be able to dominate that Chicago Bears defense. Todd Gurley and Jared Goff coming back fresh, 2 weeks off. Sean McVay, his game plan is going to be perfect against Khalil Mack. I'm pretty sure they're going to have to double him a couple times, but it's whatever. I feel like the Rams will come out on top once again.
Yeah, and you talked about the Rams played the Bears earlier in the season. The final score of that game was 15-6.
Yeah.
So the Bears really didn't score that much.
Exactly.
I think Trubisky threw 3 or 4 interceptions. Yeah. So if you're telling me all the Rams have to do is score 16 points to win the game in LA with 2 weeks, 3 weeks rest with 2 weeks to prepare, I'm taking the Rams.
Exactly. That defense. The defense will be the X factor again.
Yeah, exactly. So NFC Championship game, rematch. Rams versus Saints in the Dome. The Saints won earlier in the season in the Dome 45-35. I'd imagine you're going Saints.
Oh, yeah, it's no different. It was a high scoring game. We were beating them. We came out on fire, and I think that's something else we need to start doing again. We need to come out on fire. If we can do that, we can beat any team in the NFL. If we do that against the Rams like we did early in the season, they came back. They came back after halftime in the third quarter. They had a hot third quarter, and they came back and almost were able to come back and beat us. But it was still a high scoring game. If we can come out firing, if our defense and our O-line, I think our O-line will be key with Aaron Donald. I feel like our O-line will be healed. That's a big thing with this 2 weeks off. I feel like that is very important for our O-line because we've been hurt and bruised and battered throughout the last couple of weeks of the season. If our O-line can step up and do what they need to do, I think we will come out, and I think it's going to be a low-scoring game. It won't be like early in the season, but I think it'll be low-scoring, Saints winning, going on to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, so I totally agree. I think the Saints will win. I think it'll be a close game. I think the Rams are very good. I agree. I think it'll be a low-scoring game. Those offenses have been struggling lately, so I'm definitely going New Orleans too. So moving over to the first we got some comments.
Yeah.
So who is better, AFC or NFC? That's a good question.
Yeah, I think
NFC. I would say top to bottom. I would say I would say AFC. I would say AFC.
Yeah, I think there's more because we want to say NFC because of Saints in there, but
I think you have to see how the playoffs play.
Yeah, I think in the AFC they have more teams that are like the AFC. Their games are harder to choose as we go into it than in the NFC. I feel like teams will have more edge over each other. I think it's hard. Honestly, if you have to, like you said, you got to look how the playoffs go. If it's like both in the NFC, if there's teams that just skyrocketing past each other and blowing each other out, then obviously it's the AFC because I think the teams are more full and they're both offense and defenses are both powerful in the AFC. Honestly, I don't know. I think we have to see how the playoffs go.
Yeah, you definitely need to see how the playoffs work out. But I think even outside the playoffs, the Steelers. Yeah, that's a good team. That is some great teams. So I would say the AFC definitely. I think top to bottom, they're more.
Yeah, teams that are one dimensional in the AFC.
Yeah,
they're more.
All right, so moving on to the AFC for the predictions, and I have to say, me and Chris have been talking about this for a little while now. We really have no idea the way the AFC is going to play out. The AFC
is wide
open.
And this is why
honestly, every single team in the AFC has a chance to win. These picks are not going to be right.
They're going to be. We're going to give it our best shot.
Yeah, the AFC is wide open.
It
is wide open. It's going to be chaos. So we'll go for it though. Yeah. Starting off, 6 seed Colts. 3 seed Texans in Houston.
I'm gonna go with the Colts, and this is because they won the last 4 games. I think they're the only team in the entire playoff that's done this. They won the last 4 games coming into the playoffs. Andrew Luck, he's on fire. He's coming off an injury. He's definitely comeback player of the year without a doubt. He's on fire. He threw for about 400 yards in the game earlier this season against the Texans. And I think that O-line will make a big difference because J.J. Watt, he's been battered up his entire the back half of his career, and he's been injured again this season. And he was earlier this week he was listed as questionable, but he's definitely going to play. I think he's going to be kind of injured and may not be as fast as he usually is. He may not be 100%. That O-line, the Colts have one of the best O-lines in the league besides the Saints, I feel. And I think that's going to be a big thing. Texans have one of the worst O-lines in the league.
Yeah.
And protecting Deshaun Watson, he can definitely get out of the pocket, unlike Andrew Luck could a little bit. But I think the Colts win. O-line is going to be very key in that game. Their defense, they're both kind of ranked. I think they're ranked 11 and 12 in the defensive rankings on amount of yards. But I feel like the Colts come out on top.
Yeah, I agree. I think the Colts come out on top. You're talking about defense. I think it's purely because of Andrew Luck.
Yeah.
I think Andrew Luck owns this Texans defense. In the 2 games they played, he had over 800 yards of passing yards.
This year.
That is the third this season in the 2 games they played.
Yeah.
Because they're in the same division.
Yeah, okay.
So I think that is 3rd overall ever of one player against one team. So that's very impressive. That Texans defensive backfield has just gotten eaten for lunch against the Colts. Other than Jonathan Joseph, it's really been bad. So I'm taking the Colts. I think Andrew Luck is going to eat them up.
They're on fire.
Their
hot streak is going to definitely pull them through to their first round.
So we both have agreed on every single game. Mm-hmm. This is the one where I think we differ. Ravens Chargers in Baltimore. I'm not going to lie. Both of us have struggled with this game. We really have no idea who's going to win this game. But you can go for it first.
I'm going to say, first of all, I like Lamar Jackson.
Mhm.
I'm very confident in him. Not now. He's not going to win a Super Bowl for them this year because they got to play the Patriots. But I think he's going to bring a Super Bowl to the Ravens 1 year. I'm very confident in this game and their defense. Him, Lamar Jackson, if they can get some wide receiver threats around him, he's definitely going to be a Pro Bowl quarterback going into in the future. And their defense is they're the best defense in the league. They are the best defense in the league. And that is going to win them that game. That's going to win the Ravens the game. They're going to go on, and I think that's going to be the best game. Out of all the games in the playoffs, that game will be the best because the Chargers, yes, they lost to the Ravens at home early in the season, but the Ravens are they're going home. The Chargers 7-1 on the road. Phillip Rivers is on fire. Their defense is on fire. I mean, I think it's gonna be a battle. It's gonna be a dogfight for sure. I like Lamar Jackson. I'm very confident in him. He's very confident in himself, and I like that about him. That's why I think that's gonna separate the two teams and their defense. I think that separates the teams, and that's what gives the Ravens the win.
So I actually do disagree. I think the Chargers are going to win. Although I really like the Ravens. I trust them. I trust their defense. Really I think they know who they are.
Yeah.
They know their strengths. They know their weaknesses. They play to their strengths. They suffocate you as a team. I just think the Chargers are too talented. I think the Chargers, probably behind the Saints, are probably the most talented team in the NFL, other than the Saints, obviously.
Yeah.
Phillip Rivers, he needs to get that ring. He wants to get that ring. Melvin Gordon is one of the best running backs in the league. Keenan Allen's one of the best wide receivers in the league. Joey Bosa, Melvin Ingram coming off the edge. The Ravens are really running like a high school offense. Although they run it very well, they're really just kind of running a high school offense. I'm going with the Chargers there. But honestly, I'm very reluctant to pick the Chargers there. The Ravens absolutely could win.
The Chargers have a 50% chance of winning.
So it's exactly 50-50.
It's 50-50 basically. And I think the thing that can get the Chargers to win is they have more experience.
Mm-hmm.
That offense has way more experience than the Ravens offense has. And like you said, they're running a high school offense. Lamar Jackson's, he's running read options, and I think he's shown since he became a starter, he can pass the ball way better than people thought. Because at one point, people thought he should change positions and go running back or wide receiver, something like that. And I feel like he showed that he can play quarterback and he can be a starter in this league. I think that's a toss-up. It honestly is. I think we just have to watch it to see who will win.
Yeah, well, you go Ravens, I go Chargers, 50-50. So,
last game?
Divisional round.
We got one more, huh? Oh, no,
Chiefs, Colts. I think – I know I'm picking Chiefs. I think the Colts will be coming off a tough game again against the Texans. On the road again in Kansas City. It's kind of cold down there. So I would say I'm taking the Chiefs there. So we got some comments here. More complete teams in the NFC.
That's what
I don't know because
that's what I say.
I would say I think the two most complete teams in the NFL,
Saints,
I think they're the Saints and the Chargers. I don't think the Rams
are
in the NFL.
I think the Rams are pretty complete.
I don't think they are. Their defense is really lacking.
I mean, you talking about just entire NFC?
Entire NFL.
Top two is Saints, Chargers. I'm just talking about the NFC, AFC.
So I think the next most complete team. There's a lot of teams in it. There's the Colts. There's the Ravens.
The
Steelers are up there. I don't know, but we got to move on. We got to finish our playoff predictions. Chiefs, Colts. I'm going Chiefs.
Yeah, Chiefs
because it's in Kansas City. They're more talented, better quarterback. They got the MVP. So the next game, I had to throw it in. So I've got the Patriots and the Chargers because I picked the Chargers. You've got Patriots, Ravens. Another extremely tough game because Tom Brady has not played well this year. But you can't count him out. It's Tom Brady in Foxborough.
Yeah.
Who do you got?
With my pick, Ravens versus Patriots, I picked the Patriots. They're the more experienced team. I don't think they're the more complete team, but I think they're the more experienced. Tom Brady, you cannot count no matter what. If he's had a bad season, you can't count him out, especially if they get that second seed in the playoffs. I don't know how. We need to touch on that too, because the Chargers have the best team in the best record in the NFC, but they're the fifth seed. We don't understand
the playoff system definitely needs some reform.
Yeah, but you can't count them out. Patriots versus Ravens. I take Patriots. They're just more.
So I've got Patriots versus Chargers.
That's gonna be a good. That's a good game.
It'll be a good game. Yours is a good game too. But I'm gonna take the Chargers just because I think they're more talented. Again, I reluctantly picking them. I really have no idea what's going to happen, but I'm going to go with Chargers because I think Phillip Rivers will get it done. I think their defense will help, especially with a struggling offensive line. I think the Patriots look old. Julian Edelman looks past his prime. Rob Gronkowski, it's his last year in New England most likely. Tom Brady's looking old. Their offensive line isn't all that anymore. I'm going to go with the Chargers. Yeah. So my AFC Championship, Chargers, Chiefs. You've got Patriots, Chiefs. You want to go first on this one?
Well, I was going to touch on this right quick. The thing with your Chargers versus Patriots, the thing that's going to separate that is definitely the experience. Because that's what holding back the Ravens, honestly. Chargers have just as much experience as the Patriots, in my opinion. So that's why they'll definitely win that game. But going into the AFC Championship, Patriots versus Chiefs or Chargers versus Chiefs. My pick for Patriots versus Chiefs would definitely be the Patriots. Be the Chiefs. Mahomes is just a powerful offense. If they are able to win that game,
Patrick Mahomes.
Y'all. Wait, no. I'm not gonna hold the man. He is a very dominant quarterback. He's a great quarterback. He's definitely the second best quarterback in the league. He's for sure behind Breeze, of course. But he's good. That offense is very powerful. They put up a lot of points. They put up a lot of yards because of him, and of course the yards that Kareem Hunt gave when he was playing. But that offense would definitely put him over. I think the Patriots. You can go and touch on your game, but I think the Chiefs.
So you've got Chiefs Saints Super Bowl. That's a pretty good Super Bowl. Yeah. I've got Chargers beating the Chiefs. Yeah. I think the Chargers. They're just more talented. I think when you look at their roster, top to bottom, they've got two of everything. They're just so talented. Derwin James probably, maybe with Denzel Ward, the defensive rookie of the year, Joey Bosa, Melvin Ingram. They are some legit pass rushers. Yeah. Casey Hayward's one of the best cornerbacks in the league. Phillip Rivers is experienced. Melvin Gordon's a great running back. Keenan Allen's the most underrated wide receiver in the league. Their offensive line is good. Don't sleep on Antonio Gates. Yeah. And, when you've got the 32nd best defense, they might be his last year. Yeah. When the Chiefs have the 32nd best defense in the league, I don't think there's much Patrick Mahomes can do about it.
It's the defense.
It's the defense. Yeah. So I'm going to go with Chargers. So
I'm going with Chargers.
You've got Saints, Chiefs. Yeah. I've got Saints, Chargers. I think we both know how we're going to pick this game.
Yeah, I think the Saints. I still want to touch on the Chargers versus Chiefs.
Well, go ahead.
Yeah, defense. It's deep. Chiefs rank 32 in the league. Chargers they're like one of the best. They're top 10 for sure. Joey Bosa and that defensive end, that front seven, that basically the front seven is going to be the difference. The defense is going to definitely bring them over that hump and allow them to go to the Super Bowl for the first time in a long time. Yeah. And Phillip Rivers versus Drew Brees, that's nice. The Drew Brees former team, I think that'd be a nice Super Bowl. Yeah, that'd be will the Chiefs versus the Saints as well.
And I think that would be the best two teams in the NFL.
Yeah, that is
which rarely happens.
It is definitely the best.
That would be really awesome.
Best they're both complete teams, offensively and defensively. And I think that definitely be a nice Super Bowl I'd like to see.
Okay, so your Super Bowl prediction, I'm guessing you're going Saints over Chiefs?
Yeah, I'm going Saints over Chiefs just because that defense wants more. Chiefs have no defense. The Saints offense, we know we're coming. We know how we look. We know each other. Ted Ginn and Michael Thomas, if we both can have them coming on both sides of the field, Tre'Quan Smith in a slot, that's nice. And then you got Benjamin Watson. This is his last season. I think we want to give him a ring. He's important into the Saints team, but I like to see the Saints win the Super Bowl for Drew Brees one last time. It's probably his last chance, in my opinion. This is his last chance to get to the Super Bowl. But you can go touch on yours.
So Saints Chargers, another very tough game, by the way. It's very hard to call.
That would be a tough game.
Obviously, I'm gonna pick the Saints because we're Saints fans here.
Running backs,
I think the Saints will win. I think when you've got a running game to establish, like Mark Ingram, Alvin Kamara, I think it takes the pass rushes away. It helps your offensive line with Melvin Ingram, Joey Bosa. I think Drew Brees will have a great game. It's in a dome in Atlanta. Yeah. Drew Brees excels in domes.
It's going to basically be the Mercedes-Benz Superdome that
pretty
night.
Much.
Because in Atlanta, we got thousands of Saints fans in Atlanta already. And I know my parents, and I know you're going to be there too. So I know Atlanta is going to be filled with Saints fans, and I know that dome is going to be filled with Saints fans. So we might as well say we're playing in the Superdome that night. But yeah.
So yeah, I mean, we both got Saints winning the Super Bowl. I've got Patrick Mahomes winning MVP. You've got Drew Brees. Before we sign off, we've got a couple last comments, real quick.
Lamar Jackson.
Patriots very quietly got 2
Yes, they did.
Yeah, that's very true. I mean, we've talked about them being, kind of the dynasty's ending. Yeah. But they're in the 2 seed. They've got another bye. I mean, that's
somehow
it's tough to beat them.
There. Somehow.
Hunter Henry comes back for the Chargers. That's actually a very big point. Hunter Henry, obviously Stephen A. Smith thought he was back earlier in the season, but he wasn't. But Hunter Henry is a very, very big piece to that offense. Well, now you've got 2 tight ends, Hunter Henry and Antonio Gates. Just another weapon to a great offense. What a storyline! Rivers versus Brees. Absolutely.
Rivers versus Brees.
That would be the best storyline. Maybe Mahomes versus Brees because they're the MVP candidates.
Or Brady versus
Maybe
Brees.
Brady versus Brees, but Rivers versus Brees, his old team, the guy that replaced him. Yes. That would be an incredible storyline. So,
and I want to say this: the thing, just to establish this, I was just thinking the thing that makes the Saints the best team in the NFL, and the thing that's going to make them just Super Bowl champions is that we will be able to spread the field. Of course, our defense is very dominant. We have corners. We have a front seven, a dominant front seven. But the thing that's going to make us, we have 2 powerful cornerbacks. I think by the Super Bowl, we will have, I think Tre'Quan Smith would, step up. I like him. I like him a lot. I think he's a very underrated wide receiver. Drew Brees has made him who he is, like I said before. We're going to be able to spread the field, 2 powerful cornerbacks, a pretty good tight end, and Drew Brees, MVP. That's 100%. That's 99 overall. That's a 99 overall team right there, 100 overall. And I think that's the thing that's going to put them ahead. I think they're going to play the Chargers, honestly. But that's the thing that's going to put them ahead and actually allow them to win the Super Bowl. That right there.
I agree. So before we sign off, two last comment. How sweet would it be to win the Super Bowl in Atlanta? Falcons fans would never get over it. Yeah. Absolutely.
We will be able to trash
awesome
them
storyline
for the rest of
absolutely.
I don't even know. Infinity.
Hopefully it happens. Well, that's all we've got for you today. Thank you guys for tuning in.
Almost an hour long.
Almost an hour. Very long. Yes. So we'll be back next week previewing the Saints in the divisional round, whoever they play.
Bears,
for JRNOLA,
Eagles.
This has been Wyatt, Vaughn. Yes. This is Chris Taylor. We'll see you guys next week. Thank you guys for tuning in.
All right, now we just got to end it.
Yeah, now I just got to end it. Peace.